Welcome. I am Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and today is, I think it's October 14th, 2020. And we have several questions today. I'm going to open with a bit of a monologue as to what's coming in, just wherever they wanted to start. So there's a heaviness that I am perceiving from them in terms of a global perspective. And I think that is global. It's not just confined to us here in the United States. And it's heavy. And at the same time, I feel from them, they're telling me that this will pass. We, as the United States, tend to be the leader in many ways, or we have been in the past. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure which it is, the rest of the world still tends to look to us for guidance in many respects. And we are not providing that at this point. So there feels like there's some sorrow about that. And that's where it is globally. In terms of the United States, well, I want to touch on something before we hit the United States. So I had a dream the other night about Del Sol, Spain, and for the life of me, I could not understand why I had that dream. I hadn't seen anything about Spain. I hadn't talked to anybody about Spain. The only thing I know about Spain is what I've seen on House Hunters International probably a couple of years ago, which was a show about living on the coast, which was beautiful. So I had a dream with Del Sol. It was called Del Sol, Spain, and I was in a boat or train, a couple of different modes of transportation, and it was just really lovely. I was just seeing a lot of the riverside, the rivers and the ocean and the coastline. And I woke up and I looked up Del Sol, Spain, and it said Costa del Sol, which is coast of Spain. And I just thought that was very interesting. So then I went to a networking group that day, and two people brought up information about Spain. And so it must be in some form or fashion in the collective unconsciousness of not just that meeting, but I think a bigger picture. I'm not really sure why. Maybe I'm supposed to go retire there. I don't know. One day would be nice. In any event, pay attention to your dreams is what they're saying. So, and it was a lovely picture to leave me with. So I hope it sort of juxtaposes the negative or sorrowful picture that we painted when we opened. So there is beauty all around us. So as in terms of the United States and probably what's uppermost for people, no surprise, it's the pandemic, businesses, healthcare, and of course, probably really uppermost is the election. And we gave information many months ago, back in the year of 2019, that there would be a shift in the Senate. So if you are, whatever side of the political fence you fall on, you may or may not be happy with the outcome, that the Senate would shift back to a Democratic rule. And we are not attached to this. We have no attachment to this. We watch this play out because you have attachment to it, and the contrast and the conflict is good for you. It helps to bring clarity to certain issues. So from that perspective, watching the dynamic in your upcoming election and current voting, it appears that It appears that this will happen. We feel that it may not happen in the biggest margin that we thought earlier, and we got that information probably in November of last year, so almost 11 months. We are at 11 months, and and then we've been saying for many months, probably 6 or 7 months, even pre-pandemic, that your president will fall. He will no longer be in office, and there will be a change in management. So these are what we see as outcomes. We tend not to get caught up in the struggle of how these things happen. That's a human thing. And you certainly do a good job of getting caught up in the struggle, and as to be expected. However, there will be struggles. We feel them less so now than it was maybe even a few weeks ago. Sensing that there may be a more definitive picture of what the outcome is after your election. So not to be cagey, uh, but to say that Mr. Biden will be the likely winner of this election. We have been saying this right along, and that there will be a more definitive picture of this to allay your fears and everybody's fears of voter fraud or tampering. We never really have seen that as an issue, and again, it's the play of drama that politics invites for people. So we want to just give you that brief update. Of course, when we tell you these things, they tend to be in the moment, whatever is the strongest possibility energetically in the moment. We again feel this consistently. This has been a consistent theme. We feel it strongly to be a consistent theme with machinations going on behind the scenes, the dirty tricks and plays and power plays. People do not like to relinquish power easily. It's interesting. So that's where your election stands. And of course, there are repercussions for that as as regards your pandemic and healthcare and status of people and jobs. And we have some questions that we think specifically will answer these questions. So let me see if there's any more from them before we go to answer those questions. We feel ready to respond to questions.